Welcome, welcome. Come take a seat.
How you doing?
Come and take a seat. Eden Mill is a small distillery based just outside St Andrews. We started distilling back in 2014, but on a very small scale. So we're only filling a very limited amount of casks. We have some mature stock maturing in our warehouses, but we only have around 400 of those casks available. So we keep hold of that cask and do limited releases throughout the year, showcasing some of the special casks that we've got aging away as part of our Cask Mastery series, and also developing our core single malts as well, using our first fill bourbon and first fill sherry casks there. So we're actually building a brand new distillery, an iconic visitor centre. So St Andrews is our home. Now, if you think of St Andrews, it conjures up thoughts of golf, history. We have St Andrews University, the fourth oldest university in the world. So the streets of St Andrews are ingrained with great stories and history that surrounds it. You've also got the golf. So we're right here overlooking the old course in St Andrews, and the home of golf. It's where golf was born. I always say any great whiskey needs a great story, and that's what Eden Mill are doing. We're starting to tell our own story and tying into the history and the traditions of golf in St Andrews as well. Just about 2 miles from here, right on the banks of the Eden Estuary, is where we're building this beautiful visitor centre and distillery with sustainability at the core of what we're doing. That will be the home for our brand for years to come, and starting to build those legacies. A big part of that is continuing to produce premium prestige spirits and quality spirits, using the traditions of what came before us and also exploring the future of whisky producing. So we have launched a really exclusive private cask program. So this is a rare opportunity to have the chance to own your very own cask from Eden Mill. Now, I talk about a rare opportunity because very rarely would you get the chance to own a cask from a brand new distillery like us. So by being one of these very few to own a cask at Eden Mill, you get to choose from casks that make up Eden Mill's core maturation. We have our first fill bourbon casks, American oak, and we have our first fill sherry casks, European oak. And that is your own chance to start to write your own whiskey story with Eden Mill. So by owning a cask, you get the opportunity to come to the distillery every year and visit and taste your cask under the watchful help of our distilling team, who can guide you along the way as you go across the next 10 years of maturing. So that's what you get when you buy a cask from Eden Mill, part of our journey. So what we give you is 10 years maturation to allow your cask to really grow and mature. Not only that, is you get to be part of the Eden Mill family. So as a private cask owner, you get discount on products, you get exclusive access to future releases from Eden Mill as well, especially those really limited releases, getting priority access to those there. So what we're going to get the opportunity to do is actually have a tasting of some of these casks. So we have a sample of our bourbon cask and our sherry cask, and what I want to get you guys to do is have a little taste of these casks so you can start to understand the typical characteristics of these casks that we're offering.
So the first of the cask types is the bourbon cask, or American oak. This is one of the most frequently filled cask type for Scotch whisky, which is a cask that's previously held bourbon and is then used for further maturation of Scotch whisky. So this is bottled at natural cask strength. It's not been chill filtered, there's no big colour added to it, and the strength is at 60.6 for this one. So as your whisky goes into the casks, it will slowly reduce in alcoholic strength due to natural evaporation over time, called the angel share. But in exchange for that, it will pick up colour, flavour, and character from the cask itself. This is a whisky that has been exclusively matured in first fill bourbon cask, and from that it's picked up a huge amount of colour on that kind of pale straw, pale hay kind of character. And bear in mind, if this is at 60.6, so if anyone wants to put a splash of water in it, please feel free. It allows some of the more floral, lighter aromatics to evaporate in the glass and just be easy to detect on the aroma. For that aroma, it's predominantly bourbon influenced. You've got that kind of light barley sugar sweetness, hint of vanilla, a little bit of black peppercorn and cassia spice, but along with that, there's a little element of light kind of floral or grassy aroma coming from the new make spirit itself. As a lowland distillery by region, our new make's got a bit of a floral character into its DNA that's kind of carried through along maturation. Both of these are about 4.5-year-old, and it's a good indication of where your private cask would be roughly halfway or approaching halfway through its lifespan.
So have a little nose of it again, and even holding it up to the light, and you get some of the sort of colour there. So remembering, whiskey goes in, whiskey comes off the still completely clear. So all that is the interaction with the wood there. All these flavours are coming out of that wood in the first few years of it resting there. So just to give you an idea, and the whole purpose of this is to give you a bit of an understanding over what you might expect from your cask. So it's very easy to go buy a cask, but it's very difficult to know what's going to happen with that cask. What's it going to be like at the end? And sometimes that's the magic of whiskey and owning your own whiskey. So this is a bourbon cask at the halfway point, if you like. We are offering a 10-year maturation, and this is your bourbon cask after 5 years. So you can start to pick out some of the flavours that are developing in there, but it's still got a few more years to go. And this is going to be the advantage of, like I said, being able to visit the distillery, taste it every year, and actually watch it grow and how it develops. Some people do this for the love of it, for the journey, the chance to own their own whiskey from St Andrews. That's a very unique thing. It's not something you can get anywhere else. Some people do it for the potential growth of that in terms of financial growth, the investment side of it. But whatever your reason for doing this, it's a really unique opportunity. So if you're doing it for an investment, you can then go on to sell your cask, either back to Eden Mill or on the secondary market, and look to make a profit on your initial investment that way. If I think of investments, it's probably the most fun investment out there because you're getting to enjoy a whiskey over the years. If you're doing it solely to have something at the end, then we can bottle the cask for you at the end of 10 years as well. You might decide after 8 years that it's actually ready to bottle, and Scott will guide you on that, and then we can put that ball in motion. We can start to arrange the bottles, you can personalise your labels as well, so you have your own unique whiskey from Eden Mill and connected to this beautiful town, St Andrews, as well. It's a very unique opportunity to only own one of a very limited amount of casks. Last year we sold 300 casks as part of our initial cask release. Currently this year we have 350 casks available, 100 of which are already allocated. So this is highly sought after. And in 2 years' time we will stop selling casks. So in total there will only be 900 casks available from Eden Mill Distillery. And this is your unique opportunity to be one of the few that owns a cask. Not only that, these are going to be some of the first casks filled in the new distillery, which is really unique as well. These casks specifically that we are selling today will only be available for this year, and they will be filled in the first year of operations. So whatever happens with our distillery, we have ambitions for this distillery to grow into an iconic distillery, and to be one of the few that owns a cask that was filled in its first year is really special, and a great opportunity to start to write your own whiskey story that will go down in St Andrews history as well. So the spirit that we will be distilling at Eden Mill will be from 100% Fife grown barley, and locality is really important to us. It also ties into that sustainability message. And we are typically a lowland distillery in regionality, But also we are embracing an influence of the Highland as well. I think with these bourbon casks, it really allows the character of our spirit to be the main attraction here. It still comes through really strongly. You've got that influence of the first fill bourbon cask, which are those vanilla notes that we talked about, and slightly sweeter kind of toffee fudge notes coming through, the caramel in there, but very much so the new make spirit is very prominent in there, and that will continue to be the case should you choose a bourbon cask to mature your special whiskey in. So let's just say you're choosing a bourbon cask there. We would expect after 10 years to have around 238 bottles at cask strength there. Obviously that all depends on what we call the angel share, so the evaporation levels over the 10-year period, but that's what we would safely estimate to have in terms of bottles from a bourbon cask. Now the sherry casks are hogsheads and hold a slightly higher volume. You can expect to have around about 290 to 300 bottles at cask strength at the end of your maturation. And I think the next thing to do would be move to the second option we have, which are these beautiful first fill sherry casks.
So the first thing that you notice is it's a lot darker in colour. This comes from a combination of the fact that it's European oak versus American oak, which is a wood that naturally imparts more colour to the spirit as it matures, but also that this cask has held sherry before. So the sherry itself stains the wood, which stains the whiskey, and what you get is a huge darkening of the whiskey. It becomes across almost like a mahogany to like a burnished copper colour compared to the pale hay or straw of the bourbon matured. But again, these are about the same age. So the same spirit went into each of these casks roughly at the same time, out at the same time. Instead of that light kind of vanilla and barley sugar, you're getting rich kind of like treacle toffee, demerara sugar, fruitcake spice, hints of like date, raisin, fig, that sort of flavour. It's very much more of a saccharine, sweet style of whiskey. But from the European oak, it brings a lot more of a black peppercorn spice on the palate.
So straight away you're getting a lot of that, much more influence from the European oak and the sherry oak. So balanced beautifully with our typical lowland style spirit, those sort of light floral notes. But the fact that we've got a little bit of that Highland influence, that more robust flavour, means that it holds up to the influence of the sherry cask there. It's a very popular style right now. Sherry casks, I mean, they've been used for hundreds of years in whiskey maturation, and forms an integral part to our own core maturation of Eden Mill single malt whiskey. And that's why we're really excited to be able to offer that to private cask owners, to have their own single sherry cask that will develop and pick up these flavours in there as well. For this one, being able to sort of watch it grow, you'll get a lot of that sherry influence almost from day one. Yep. In there. So let's just remember what we're trying here is only 5 years old. It's still got a bit of time to go. It's got time to mellow, it's got time to develop with all the flavours in there. And for me, just makes a really beautiful whiskey. So a great opportunity there as part of the private cask programme to own your own sherry cask from Eden Mill. This is the advantage of this, is being able to, like I say, being able to taste the differences between the two cask options. I would say out of all the casks that we've sold, I would say about 70% of them have been sherry casks. They, as I say, a popular style of whiskey is sherry cask whiskey. You can find out much more information about all our products and the private cask programme itself by visiting edenmill.com. Slange.